And if you mean to it, I'll fuck you up. La-di-da, Pug. He's got a mashed up face. He's the size of a mug. A pug.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Pugs and Mugs, Sipping Stories with Cuppa Pug. We are here with two very special guests today from the Manchester Pug Thing, because we're going to be talking about all things adoption with pugs. Now, you know that we're going to be setting up in Manchester very soon, so we thought, let's start having the conversations now, getting in there, talking about what the Manchester Pug scene is all about, how you can rescue and rehome pugs there, and we're going to be partnering very specially with the Manchester Pug Thing as well, so stay tuned for more information on that. I'm going to start by welcoming Jackie and Rachel. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So let me start. Tell me, what is the Manchester Pug Thing?
Manchester Pug Thing has been started since October 2016.
Yeah.
It was formed by a group of friends who just absolutely adore pugs. But the main reason it was founded was through my love of my dog Grace, who helped me come through a very bad time in life, and without her I don't think I would be here today. So having Grace gave me the passion and the love for the breed to do what we do now, and then with the help of these guys we met along the way, Manchester Pug Thing was established and has become what it's become today.
Yeah, the rest is history. The people of Manchester love their pugs.
That's good for me to know.
Yeah, very important for you to know. You'll be very welcome, I'm sure, absolutely sure.
So what does the Manchester Pug Thing actually do?
Well, we originally started out doing weekly meets.
Yeah, just weekly pug walks across Manchester, different parts of Manchester, so we could get people from the different suburbs. And then that evolved into, we did a couple of fundraising events, and we donated money to other pug groups, and then we realised we were quite good at it, and we raised quite a lot of money, didn't we? And we were giving that money away and not seeing what happened with it, and so we sort of decided that we could do this, and it was very small, and there was a couple of hundred people in the group.
I mean, you say that's very small, that's a lot, that, you know, to get a couple of hundred people together, you know, especially when you're giving money to charities. And I think that's a really important thing, you know, when we're giving money to charities, we always want to know where that money's going and how has it helped as well. I think that's really important.
Yeah, because we weren't seeing the end product, we were just putting money in someone else's pot and we didn't see where it was going. And we wanted to use that ourselves and help the dogs ourselves. So, not everyone was up for it, but there were a few of us that decided we could go for and do the welfare and rescue ourselves, and we did. And it just went very quickly, bonkers. So now I think we're 2,500 members of the group now on our Facebook and other social media, and we've rescued and rehomed. We've lost count.
I was going to say, what is that number?
We used to know the names of
the first couple of years we could have reeled off the names of every pug that we'd taken in and helped and rehomed. The nice thing is that most of them stay part of the group and come on walks and come to events, so we get to see them in their happy homes. That's
amazing, because I guess when you're helping so many pugs and they go to different homes, you'd think that you wouldn't see them again, you know, but for them to be taken in by the group members as well, is fantastic.
Largely that's what happens, and like I say, we get to see them, especially when they've come in with health issues, and we fix them up, patch them up, get their new home, and then you see them 6-12 months later, and they're happy, just thriving, running around, playing, loving their life, aren't they? And it makes it worthwhile, because we see some horrible stuff as well.
I mean, some of the questions we get is, do that many pugs need rescuing?
Yeah.
So,
sadly.
I mean, tell us about like, you know, a typical month. What would happen? What would come in?
Well, sometimes we don't get much into it.
No, we could have a couple of months where it's really quiet.
And then we could then 7-8 in a month. It just all depends.
There's no rhythm to it whatsoever.
No.
It's and then sometimes we might get two together, like we have recently, where we've had father and son. We've had other siblings surrendered to us.
And why are people surrendering their pugs? What's the stories that are coming in?
Recently we've had a lot of people who just can't afford to keep them. or having to downsize homes and going into rented from maybe owning property, and they can't find landlords that are happy to let them take dogs, especially if they've got 2 or 3. I mean, I think the most we've rehome from one home was 3. And people, they can't part with just 1 or 2, so it's like all or nothing. But we've had a lot of that the last couple of years, haven't we?
And then the ones people are seeing for sale for like £50 on...
Yeah. We often get group members saying, we've seen this little pug in Yorkshire or wherever it might be, and it's on for £50 on Gumtree or one of these sort of sale sites. And you're looking at this poor little dog, it's like the sad picture of it, thinking, where's it going to end up?
Yeah. I mean, that's a story with Gun.
Yeah.
He was on Gumtree. A customer tried to actually inquire about it, and they wouldn't give them many details at all.
They're often very vague.
Very vague, and they sent it to us, and we were like, do you know what? Let's just get him out of that situation.
Yeah.
You don't know where he's going to end up as well.
Well,
so.
we've done that just recently. One chap, you went over to is it Shropshire?
Yeah.
And it was Morrison's car park, handover. What was it? £50 cash. And then you ended up going back 2 nights later to get the sister. We think it's a sister. Because he had this other dog that he was then selling, and he wanted £80 for that one. They've come and they're straggly and they're dirty, and they've obviously been bred from two females. They could even be related.
Yeah,
They've been in that
daughter,
situation. Yeah, it's possibly mother and daughter.
Wow. So do you only rescue pugs? What's the limit of what you
Pugs
can
and
do?
pug crosses.
We've had a couple of French bulldogs as well.
We have, but after you got bitten by one, we said, we don't want any more. We do pug crosses. Some of the pug groups are a little bit pug snobby. Sorry, but you are. But we don't. If pug's a pug.
Pugs, even if it's a cross, we still call them a pug. We don't.
Completely.
Yeah.
We had that with Gun actually online. Someone said, well, he's a male pug, so he's technically a mutt. I'm like, well, look, we've just rehomed. We're giving him a home. Like, we're not going to... It doesn't matter what he is.
Other than the standard colours, technically something's been bred in, hasn't it?
Completely.
So why... I mean, I'm sure Gizmo's not... You know, there must be something in there. And we've got lots that... And you know that there's something else there. But the pug personality seems to prevail.
It always does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Whatever they're mixed with, they've
it's
always
like
got
when
that.
we say, like, that's the Pugmas party, and like people, pug crosses invited, and it's like, no, you know, pugs are pugs at the end of the day. You know?
We get it here as well. Can I bring my pug cross? Of course you can. We do not discriminate.
But some of the, I mean, we see what other rescues and other groups do, and ours, when we started out, when we were talking, we had 1 or 2 very snobby people who were like, you can't have what was the word that was used? Mongrels. We can't have mongrels. I'm like, well,
you're rescuing a dog, right? Like it doesn't matter like what it is.
No,
so.
but these people that decided we parted way with them because we weren't having
You've
that
got to do
sort
a
of
job,
negativity, right? and the pugs are pugs, and like I say, the personality of the pug comes through whatever they're mixed with, and I think that's what's important, and that's what we love about them more than anything. People think we just like the squishy little faces. Oh, you wouldn't have one if they had more of a snout and all that sort of thing.
So tell us about your own pugs. What are they like?
Hers are a bad influence on mine. Mine are very well behaved.
Mine are not. I've got Grace. She's 9 in February, and she's absolutely mental. She just has this yellow ball, and she's well known on the group for, can I say it, a bleeding yellow ball, because everywhere Grace is this yellow ball, and it's squeak,
one
squeak,
of many.
Squeak, squeak,
She's got them everywhere.
She's a menace. And then you've got Hattie. She's known as Mad Hattie because she is mad. She chases men, women, cyclists,
trains.
Yeah, I've seen grumpy
joggers
cry, and she's small, but she's from Liverpool, and
that's what you're gonna get.
She's feisty.
She's a Kirby lass. And then I've got Mama Winnie, which is Grace's mum. And I didn't know at the time when I got Grace. I thought I was going to a reputable breeder. I didn't know behind the door in his kitchen he had every breed of dog, and he was breeding. And when I got Winnie, it turns out she had been bred from the age of 1 till she was 4. She'd had 4 litters and she'd had 28 puppies.
Oh, wow.
And then he didn't want her anymore, so she ended up with me. So I ended up with Winnie. She's known as Mama Winnie. When she come to me, she didn't know anything. She didn't know any
She didn't know how
human
to interact,
interaction.
did she?
At 3, at what, 4 years old?
She was 4 years old when she come to me, and as soon as you went near Winnie, she just lay on her back, as if to go and put puppies
To feed.
on her.
Because that's what she's got.
That's all Winnie knew. But now,
I mean, now you've gone through that, what could you tell people in terms of what they should be looking for if they are going to look to buy a pug? What had you learned from that experience?
I used to think just to go from the pedigree, the better the pedigree. That's what I thought when I first went into the pugs. But no, I'd make sure the health checked. I'd make sure you'd go to a reputable breeder.
You look for a recommendation probably for someone else for a breeder, because a lot of people put themselves out there, won't they, as a breeder of a particular breed, but in actual fact they don't know what they're doing.
Totally. We had Jade from Pearl's Legacy on our last podcast, and she said it's always good to ask who their vet is, and then check with the vet.
Yes, that's a very good idea.
As well.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
I hadn't actually thought that, but that is a good idea.
Double check with the vet, you know, and if they're not willing to give you that information,
red flag.
Then it's a massive red flag as well. And we've had the same. Like, we're always learning.
Absolutely.
We've had pugs that have come from kind of different homes and things, and you don't know the whole details. And you pick up and you learn, and that's the best thing. I think at the end of the day, like you say, at least now she has a home where she is loved as well, and that's ultimately what you want.
And the difference in her when
you
see her
she's 11
now,
and she's a mixture of Grace and Hattie because she's learned their behaviour. So
and
the three of them
realise that might not be the best combination.
The three of them together.
But you're stuck with them now.
And I wouldn't change it for anything. But my Grace recently, she's a really healthy dog, and she was just sat behind me, and she had a bit of a funny turn, and she's just had a massive stroke. Which just come as a complete and utter shock, but thankfully she's recovered.
She's absolutely grand now, isn't she, as well? And she was so
nearly
poorly.
£7,000 in vet bills.
Get insured,
so,
folks.
Yes, get insured. That's one thing.
So you go through money like no one's business if you're not insured.
I mean, what advice would you give people about looking to insure their pugs?
Get lifetime insurance.
Pre-existing condition, the full bit.
Yeah, if you think £5,000 as a policy is good enough, no, it's not. You want at least £10,000-12,000.
Yeah, I mean, I think my cover now is, I think I've got about 8, but on a lifetime cover, because I learned as well with, I lost one of mine 2.5 years ago, and that, you just go through cash like water.
Probably something we need to look at as well. What is the limits on our annual cover? That's probably something I haven't looked at for a while, so it's probably something we can see.
To review it, because I think the problem is as well, no disrespect to vets, sorry vets, but they know you're insured, and they'll want every test under the sun and then some more. And some of them might not be entirely necessary, but they will make sure, what's your limit on your insurance? Okay, we can get there. We can get there.
Something to check out.
But definitely review it from time to time. And as they get older as well, look into different companies. I mean, it's difficult because as they get older, they want a copay. I think mine on for Millie now is a 20% copay.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
So that can get expensive as well. So I have a credit card that I just use every now and again to keep it going, and then I think there's about £5 limit on it. So
people look for cheaper insurance companies, but if you've seen a vet for anything in that year of having a policy, say you've been to the vet with your dog having a cough or your dog's had a bad stomach, you change policy, then that will flag up as a pre-existing condition, so you won't be covered on that,
It's likely something could happen again with that condition, isn't it?
Yeah, so if just say you went with your dog with a bad tummy, and then it turns out it had something seriously wrong with its stomach, they wouldn't pay out.
They would disclaim on that, wouldn't they then?
They have you every way, so...
Have a little first aid kit and find out about all the day-to-day things that some people might go to the vet for, but you can probably treat at home safely. We always have eye drops and...
We always have the eye drops.
Calpol.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely.
Really say that, should I? But there are certain things. Learn about it. Speak to your vet. No, but your vet will tell you. We've learned so much about it.
I was going to say, that's a great thing of having a group of more than 2,000 members, isn't it? You've got such a great community of
and it is
wealth
like
of knowledge.
A family community, and people will post on there. I mean, we have to...
We call us the Pug family, don't we?
Yeah, we're just the Pug family. And so if someone's got... I think someone's posted this morning about my dog's got a bit of a cough. I thought it had cleared up, it's come back, what do I do? And people might have some ideas, ultimately they'll be told to go and see the vet, but it's Sunday.
Yeah, but sometimes we do, like, people offer advice that we don't really want, so we would remove that from the page and always say,
some people
go and see a vet.
Some people like to give holistic advice, which is lovely in conjunction with proper vet treatment.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, so we have to be careful
Yeah.
don't we, what comments go on there. But there's a lot of remedies and day-to-day, like if they've got an upset tummy and things like that, you can try and treat things like that at home without having a panic, can't you? And
Definitely.
run into the vet, especially if it's a weekend.
Yeah, some, you know, like when they get pug acne and stuff like that, and you know, you can.
It happens, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, you know, really panic, especially if if it's a first pug or,
Yeah,
you know.
you find people as well who don't know anything about reverse sneezing. You know, your first episode of that, if you've got nobody to
Scary.
It can be horrific, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Millie does it, my Millie does it to order.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
you know,
really. Yeah.
She's annoyed with me because I've gone back to work. So she
so
started when I was going out the door. She started
Mum,
reverse
don't leave.
sneeze.
That's a good point, Rachel. Tell us about your pugs.
Oh well, I have Henry, who's very special. Special. Jackie would refer to him as Forrest Gump of the group.
The Forrest Gump.
He's he's only got one eye, and his other eye is a bit rubbish, so his vision's very poor. And I don't know whether he may have been dropped on his head at some point, but he's not a regular dog really.
And is he a rescue?
No, I bought him as a pup. I bought him when he only had one eye, so again he was being sold cheap.
So you did rescue, that is a rescue.
Well, £500 worth of rescue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose, yeah. Perhaps he wouldn't have, not everyone's cup of tea, probably would have taken a while for them to find him a home. But yeah, he had terrible eye ulcers in the other eye, and we had years of sorting him out with that. But so now he has his pram.
Oh,
and he gets pushed around in his pram with his little bobby hat on when it's cold. I'm used to it. I get cold.
You are a pug mum, so you have to. That's what you do, right?
but he has a proper like mamas and papas baby pram now.
Oh, wow. Well, the stats came out, didn't it, last week that actually more money last year was spent on strollers for dogs than for children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, now that is
gone over.
Really?
Yeah.
I can believe that because the first time I ever took him out in a pram, I felt a bit silly. And people would look like...
Yeah.
But now you see so many dogs in prams. We were in Wales pushing him round, and a few people came to look at my baby and went,
He is your baby.
well, I know that's what I said, but they kind of look in the pram and
with a bobby hat on.
a little red bobby hat on and his jumper, and they kind of go, okay, yeah. So before I had Henry, I had Roxy, got hurt. I'd had her about 3 months before we got Henry. And as I say, she passed about 2.5 years ago. So Henry struggled after she'd gone. It actually made him poorly.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because they'd been together his entire life. So I said to you, Henry needs a pal, but he needs a female that's a bit smaller than him, so he doesn't feel, because he gets a bit intimidated sometimes by male dogs because they're a bit in his face, and he's not a proper boy. He doesn't even cock his leg.
No.
He's not a boy. So you and Pete were out on a rescue down this way somewhere, I think.
It was mild, yeah.
It was a good trek away. I had to collect Millie, who would have been 4 then.
And I just knew she was the one.
And I got a phone call saying, I think I've just found Henry's new buddy. So this tiny little potato arrived. She's more a potato now, she's been with me because she's put a little more weight on. And Henry just loved her, didn't he? And he just came back to life because he was like really low. And the vet said he's grieving. They checked him out. He wouldn't eat. It was awful, but they said everything's fine, he's just grieving. It's like, Christ, he needs a pal. So Millie came along. She's bonkers as well. So they're now buddies, and we have sleeping arrangements like this. They snuggle up together and it's all happy. But she has little boots on to walk.
She has really bad anxiety issues.
Yeah, she does have anxiety issues. We've improved a bit. The vet wanted to give her Xanax.
Wow, gosh.
And I went, whoa.
Nope.
I said, no, we'll try and work on it a bit first. She does have the odd little dribble of CBD oil in a meal. just chill her out a bit.
We know that all too well, don't we, Bobo?
But if she's in a room and you close the door on her, she will go into full panic attack mode.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what's happened, obviously. We've got a bit of a story, didn't we? I know she was pregnant, she lost her puppies, had an emergency C-section, lost her puppies and had to be spayed, so she wasn't any use any longer. And so she was surrendered to us, wasn't she? But she still had stitches in from her surgery.
Oh, wow.
That's like, she's no good
yeah,
anymore.
taken. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
So, talk to us. So, if someone wanted to get in contact with Manchester Pug Thing, they wanted to become part of the group, what's the process?
They look for us on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We have a closed group which is more personalised.
Yeah.
Then we have a business page where we put reels on. And,
yeah, and when you can, it's easier to find the business page.
Yeah,
and then
the
from
closed
there
group.
you can get into the closed group. It's one of those where you just a couple of questions to answer. We're not.
Yeah, we have a website. It's www.pugwelfare.com.
It is.
And then we have Instagram. We've just started a TikTok.
It's not my bag. I can't get my head around it, but Jackie does quite a lot of that, and it's becoming quite popular, I must say.
Amazing. Pugs on TikTok, I think, are fantastic. You know,
yeah, I mean, you've
great
got an account on there as well, haven't you? And,
everyone loves our TikTok. Everyone that comes here will say, "We've seen your TikTok.
Oh,
and,
really?
You know, we love this," and they come for a specific pug then as well. So
of course,
definitely,
you get to know all the little characters.
They really do.
Sleepy,
all of the
I'm not much of a
personalities,
character this
all the
morning.
snoring that we
Yeah,
can
they
hear
all
as
love
well.
seeing the videos of Grace with the yellow ball.
We'll have to check it out. Check out the Manchester Pug Thing. Grace on her yellow ball. Look for that as well.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe and give us any comments and questions that you have about the Manchester Pug Thing. They'll definitely be back soon. Make sure you go and like, follow, and watch all the videos of Grace on her yellow ball as well on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
La-di-da, a pug. He's got a mashed up face. He's the size of a mug. A pug.